Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finally have a good bit of news coming their way after two very rough losses back to back, and it's about a certain player returning from the injured reserve. Backup running back Chase Edmonds is going to be returning from the injured reserve, or has been designated to return from the injured reserve per Adam Schefter. And this is a good boost to the running game. And I know what some people are going to say is, James, what the heck are you talking about? The run game stinks. The offensive line can't block. And while I do understand, completely where some people are coming from, where the idea of, look, man, it might not even matter who the heck is back there at running back, given the offensive line and how they have been performing and whatnot. I do think it's obviously good to get Chase Edmonds back into the mix. And I wanted to go ahead and kind of take a look at some stats real quick and kind of dive a little bit deeper into what I am kind of talking about here. So let's go ahead, take a quick look. Firstly, you got here Rachaad White, 83 attempts, 266 yards, one touchdown, right? 3.2 yards per attempt. Now, Rachaad White's also been pretty successful in the receiving game. 23 targets, 22 receptions, 163 yards. All in all, not bad from Rachaad White, at least in terms of receiving. Rushing, not good. Take a look at the second running back here, KeShawn Vaughn, who's been getting a lot of opportunities lately in the absence of Chase Edmonds. He has 19 attempts for 32 yards. That's good for 1.7 yards per attempt. Not good. Not good at all. Shan Tucker isn't doing much better. 15 carries for 23 yards. That's good for 1.5 yards an attempt. Combined, they've got 6 targets. They've got 3 receptions for 12 yards. So, besides Rachaad White, the backup running back situation has not been very good. I want to take a look at Chase Edmonds here, because Chase Edmonds obviously has not played a lot this year. He only has 4 attempts for 20 yards. 2 first downs, though. That's good for 5 yards an attempt. And I know what some people are going to say is, James, it's such a small sample size, right? You even take a look here. 4 attempts to 19, 15, and then obviously Rachaad White getting 83. However, maybe a small sample size, but it's at least a little encouraging, right? 5 yards an attempt is certainly better than 1.5, 1.7, and 3.2. So I think that certainly Chase Edmonds can help out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in terms of rushing ability. He's the most veteran guy that they have right now. KeShawn Vaughn, Rachaad White and Shan Tucker have all been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their past, so really don't have a lot of history to their game. But you take a look at Chase Edmonds, he obviously did not log a lot of snaps before going on the injured reserve. But, you take a look back at his history, and all in all, things, we're good for the most part, right? You have 2022, he averaged 3.6 yards an attempt. A lot of that was bogged down due to 2.9 yards with the Dolphins, but with Denver, he was averaging 4.8. Before that, you had 5.1 with Arizona, 4.6 with Arizona, 5.1 with Arizona, and 3.5. Folks, all of that, by the way, is better than what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are producing right now in 2023. So I think that Chase Edmonds is certainly a guy that's going to give a boost, not just as a runner, but even as a receiver as well. You look in his career, and he's had great ability in 2020 and in 2021. He was getting a healthy amount of targets, a healthy amount of receptions, and a healthy amount of receiving yards as well. And he's a veteran guy, right? He's still only 27 years old. And he's a guy that can just give you some juice in the running back room, right? Maybe make some better decisions in terms of running with the football in his hands than what we've been seeing from guys like Rachaad White, like KeShawn Vaughn, like Shan Tucker. Maybe Chase Edmonds can make up a little bit for that lack of good blocking along the interior offensive line. So it's certainly something that I'm going to be very interested in seeing. Chase Edmonds, once he does return, how is he going to affect this running game? Gosh, if Chase Edmonds plays well enough, folks, do you think he could even push Rachaad White for his starting position? Because, Rachaad White isn't doing a lot right now to kind of justify keeping that starting position. So if Chase Edmonds goes out there and knocks it out of the park, we could be seeing a lot more of Chase Edmonds moving forward. We've been seeing a very healthy amount of KeShawn Vaughn in the past couple of games. Haven't really seen any of Shan Tucker. You take a look at his game logs from 2023. Look at this, folks. He hasn't played an offensive snap in a long time. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Offensive snaps over here on our far right side. You look, he hasn't played an offensive snap since week 3 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. He only played 4 snaps at that point. Since then, nothing on offense for Mr. Shan Tucker. Now, part of that's been because he's played a little bit on special teams, right? He's been mainly a special teams guy up to this point. You know, he's generally in the at least 30% of special team snaps. But, you know, point being is that Shan Tucker isn't getting used a whole heck of a lot. KeShawn Vaughn, you know, may be getting used a lot, but it hasn't been good. We even take a look at his game logs here. You know, he's getting like they essentially benched Shan Tucker for KeShawn Vaughn, right? Like 30% of the offensive snaps in week 4, 21% of the offensive snaps in week 5. And then 21% of the offensive snaps in week 5, and then 25% of the offensive snaps in week 6. So like they're using KeShawn Vaughn a pretty healthy amount. I imagine when Chase Edmonds comes back, this is the type of usage rate we're probably going to be seeing, right? 30%, 21%, 25%, at least at first, whenever Chase Edmonds comes back. So it's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm going to be very, curious to see Edmonds back, and be very interested to see how he contributes and whether or not really he really just starts carving out a role for himself that may lead to potentially even something of a starting running back somewhere down the line. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, folks, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.